What's going on with Stellar Lumens XLM? Where are we headed this month after the Bitcoin halving? How does that affect Stellar in the broader crypto market? We're going to talk about XLM today, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and do some chart analysis. So here we go. And also, make sure to check out our sponsor, Bump Social. They are creating an amazing social media app. They're on iOS and Android, and they're really creating something cool for users and for creators, brands and advertisers alike, where you can connect with your communities, you can connect with your following, engage in a more deep and meaningful way, and grow without the infringement of an algorithm getting in the way of that. Let's say goodbye to big tech and hello to Bump Social. Make sure to check them out. All links in the description down below. All right, let's dive into this. Taking a look at where Stellar Lumens is at, obviously, since we had the big XRP win back in July, we've talked about this a million times, it seemed to have been stuck in this range where it just hasn't been able to quite get out. It's a very frustrating point in time, and we have to keep zooming out to get a full perspective on this because we have not really left the bear market for altcoins, even here for Stellar Lumens. You look back how many times it's bounced around off of or just under the 10-cent level. It's staggering how many times it's done that. And it's almost frustrating. The lowest points obviously were, around 7-8 cents. But, 10 cents has just been like the most annoying floor that we, for some reason, constantly have to come back down to. Granted, we've done a little bit less of that, a little bit more action to the upside, but we still haven't gone up, right? We have not broken out of this. And you got to ask why, what's taking so long? It's been, 3 years, to the dot trying to get through since our last major bull market started. It's been a solid 2 years of pain, sitting down here. We've been at these levels, these lows. I'm not even counting the huge drop off in 2022, but since pretty close to around this time in 2022, we've been at these lows. It's very annoying. So how do we get out of here, right? How do we go up? I'm not even going to count how many times we bounce off 10. I'm not going to count how many times we've struggled to stay above 13.5 or 14. That's another problem. The good news is we have popped through it. We've shown that we can get out of here, and we can get out of here in a market that's trending in the right direction. Now, the question is, what is it going to take? All right. We had Bitcoin with the ETF really drive this market up since, October of last year, showing promise. Beginning of this year with ETFs getting approved drove the market. And now we have the Bitcoin halving finally through, this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 correction. You could look at it that way. Right before the halving occurred, and now we're flashing some green bars. Hopefully those are sustainable green bars, because we have a trending ceiling coming down that is getting a little annoying trying to get through. We've tapped it 1, 2, 3 times on the dot, and we had a support line that we just fell flat through. We had a nasty liquidity event, one of the worst red bars we've had in this entire bear market, and just wiped out all of our progress. That stuff is very frustrating. It was frustrating for me to watch as well. So how do we get out of here? Where are we going? The good news is we relatively held this level at 10. Again, the market does not seem to want to price below this for XLM. If we go to other charts, you're going to see something very similar across crypto. Like there's points of resistance here, like very strong floors. 10 cents is a floor for XLM that it just doesn't want to go below. And if it does it for a very short period of time. As witnessed in this ugly, ugly week that we had to go through. Now we're seeing a little bit of growth. We're starting to stair step out of this problem. Seeing some good headlines in the news with the SEC Bitcoin clearing and, moving past its halving date is a good sign. And after having these pullbacks, it makes us a little bit more optimistic. Accumulation is starting to really pile up for ETFs. And a lot of uncertainties on the table, but in a good way. We've had a lot of things kind of delay our progress upwards with rate cuts, kind of getting taken off the table for a while, maybe until next year. Unfortunately, inflation starting to creep up. War, Israel and Iran getting after each other is not helping anybody, especially these markets. And so what we have to, look for is, what are the fundamentals here? What is going to get us there? Let's look at the moving averages. Okay. We are well below all our moving averages for the first time in quite a while. The last time that happened, we didn't stay low for very long. We actually recouped all those gains back in October, right before we went into this, kind of bullish move over a 3 or 4 month period. We could say 5 months, into March was a good month. But just a month ago, like a month and a half ago from today, we were in a really good position. So in a month and a half from today, could we be in the same position or better? Absolutely. By the time we get to this time in May or even the very beginning of June, we could be looking at a hot summer for crypto. It's all perspective. In the end, this market moves very fast and has very big swings. And I don't even want to look at the daily for this chart analysis. I'm going to back out to the weekly because it's going to provide a little bit more of a perspective on where we've come so far. Because if you look back into December of 2022, things were very ugly at that point in time. We've climbed on the weekly. We have climbed out of this pretty nicely. There's all these, and I've put these bubbles in here for reference, but we've made our way up. Looking at the 200 and the 100, we've had a harder time trying to find a way to get through that on the weekly. But I think we will. We've shown some signs of trying to get through it. And I think we'll try again. But this is starting to go up and is getting tighter and tighter. And eventually, we're going to pop through and stay above the 100 and 200 and really, I think, solidify the fact that we're in a bull market. This entire stretch between, let's say, June of 2023 to now, over the past year, has shown us in a scenario where we're trying to cross through all these moving averages. We crossed through 20, we've crossed through the 50, and we're showing some strength against it, and gaining ground to stay above it. And the 200, the 100 we're closing in on and getting tighter with, and the 200, they're serving as some resistance areas, but we're getting there. There's positive things happening that are getting us in the direction we want to go. If we go back and we look at 2020, the last time we had a huge bull move for Stellar, we have retraced incredibly hard. We've found our way in the right direction and completely collapsed to very unforgiving and low prices in very short periods of time, and then have rocketed out of nowhere. We could wake up tomorrow and we could get a God candle. Simply because the industry's back and we get the right ETF in, retail wakes up, we keep pausing on interest rates. Maybe we do get a cut at some point, or we get close to one. Inflation comes down enough to make it possible. All I can say is this is starting to really start to mirror some of these consolidations to the upside. And once we finally get through that 100 and 200, we're going to stay above it. And that'll be our sign that we're in a bull market. We're getting into a bull market, but we're not in a bull market for crypto. For Bitcoin, of course, we're in a bull market for Bitcoin. We've gone through all-time highs. We're sitting just right below it. Bitcoin is looking to make another move higher, and that'll continue to feed this industry. But we're still a ways off, all right? It's going to take some time. And so the key here is patience and not to freak out. This is normal stuff that happens. The good news is we're moving in the right direction. So if you need reassurance, back out to the weekly and take a look at it. Focus on the moving averages, focus on where we need to get on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis. This is a good accumulation zone. We've shown every time we've come down to these areas and bounced off 10, we've rallied to the upside and found some higher targets. So the question is, can we, again, get above 13 and a half, but can we get above what we went to last time, which was close to 16? Can we show a continued trend in this direction? What I want to see, I'm going to see if I can find my little arrow drawing tool thingy. Maybe. Emojis. There he is, brush. I think I just click down here, right? Oh, okay. I see. So yeah, this is one scenario where we continue to tread along in this area, but we slowly make our way up. That would be a very long case, and I don't think we're going to go that much longer in this direction. Worst case scenario is we fail to hold this 10-cent level and we tank downwards, prolonging this bear market and being very, very ugly. Or we justify this floor and we reward ourselves. And not only do we come up and hit this area, but we finally break through and we go much higher. That could take us into early 2025. And this could just be a very, very long period of time. That's very frustrating. The other scenario is we're overdue and we get our goddamn God candle. And by the time we hit summer, we're pushing 20 cents, making our way upwards to new exciting levels. All are possible. I'm just going to leave you with this takeaway, especially for Stellar. Keep an eye on the 13 and a half level. It has been a struggle to stay above. I don't know why, but it has. And even when you go back in time, like there's not a lot to look at except for maybe May of 19. It has a hard time with this level. And this is also kind of where the 100 moving average is forming. If we can bounce and make this a floor, like we can do something in the realms of we come up, we bounce, and then we go up again. That is going to be incredibly bullish. So please keep an eye on that level. And then on that floor, obviously we don't want to have a situation where we come down and we can't get above it. And then that turns into a new ceiling. Like that is the worst case scenario. So predictions. I know you guys probably want predictions. You probably want me to tell you what I think it's going to go to, but I thought personally that this was going to be where we break out and we find our way to go higher after consolidating for so long and struggling with this level, and we just didn't do it. We had the halving looming, people wanting to sell, take advantage of profits in Bitcoin. There was liquidations in the market, people gaming and shorting, and it just kind of crushed the price once again. But we held once again, so it's frustrating. We're still in this long funnel, but we're getting closer. The good news is the halving's over with. We got past it. Now we're in a point in time where we start looking a couple months down the line and say, all right, Bitcoin's got to retest its all-time high and start making its way up. There's no way it doesn't do that this year. There's no way it doesn't get to 100,000 before the end of the year. I'd be shocked if it didn't. So if that's the case, that's going to just add more fuel to the fire and juice up the market. At what point do we actually clear these hurdles and go up, up, up? All right. In the short term, if we're lucky, if things go according to plan by summer, if we see a breakout finally, maybe it's the next one, the second, the third, I don't know. But if we can break out and go retest 16, 17 cents by the summer, I'm going to be pretty confident that we're going in the right direction, because it's about time we do that and we do it a bit more strongly. Like the selling pressure and the bullshit staying in this sideways pattern has got to end at some point. We're way overdue in the 3-year cycle for altcoins to show some movement. It exists and we're way past it. We should have saw this happen here in this period of time. It was delayed. I thought it was going to happen here in the first quarter of this year, and it didn't happen. So it's got to happen at any point in time now. It's gotta occur. I can feel the demand too on the podcasting side. Like, guys, we're very close. So I think by summer, there's a good chance that we can get up to the 17 level. We'll probably be between 13 and a half and 17 by the time we get to June-ish, July. But can we get through where we were in last July? Because by the end of the year, I'd love to see us get through this level and make a new high, like to literally come up here and maybe retest 22, 23, 24 cents, because we have to show progress. If we don't, we're just going to be stuck in this long drawn out pattern. And it's been very long. I'm also worried this looks like an M structure on a long-term frame, but it might not be. You know, looking at the weekly, you know, anything can kind of look like that. So it's tough, guys. It's tough because it's not giving me a whole lot to work with right now. But I'm pretty confident we'll be between 13 and a half and 17 by the time we get to June and July. And I think by the time we get to the end of this year, we should break out of this. If we don't break out of this by the end of this year, I will be completely shocked. Like, we're talking about stretching out all the way to here. Do you know how long of a consolidation period that would be to come to January of 2025 and still be in this pattern? 3 full years in what could be considered a bear market is a long time. Long time, especially for where we're at now. Like, this is not 2017. This is 2024. Like, we're far more advanced and more developed, and there's way more money and liquidity in this space than there has ever been. And you've seen that in very short spurts of time. It just hasn't sustained for whatever reason. So if we're not making a move up by then, I would be shocked, especially with how close we're getting to these moving averages. So that is my analysis and my synopsis of what's going on with Stellar Lumens. It's kind of also my synopsis of the entire crypto market. It's frustrating, but it's a game of patience. And if you can do that, then you have a good chance to find some success. So I'm going to leave you with that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next episode. So stay tuned. Cheers.